Hi there, welcome to Diggs the Piker. We're in the boat shed again today, and I thought we'd just take a few minutes to go through some weedless rigging options. So I want to talk about some really interesting add-ons that you can get. I don't know whether you can see that little guy dangling from there. These are really interesting in that you can literally just clip them on and off. And again, if I show you the clip at the top of that, it enables you to put this little blade anywhere you like. Really interestingly, this Shadtie Slim coupled with the Westin jig head, and you see you've got an attachment for your leader off the top and this bottom eye there. Now some people, and you'd be quite welcome to put a small stinger on there, but the good thing about this is that in a matter of seconds you've adapted the lure to have a small blade underneath. You can imagine that popping back through, a little bit extra vibration underneath, you've got the tail swag in there, and the job's a good one. So another option you can have, you can see here how the same blade is hanging off one of these sliding weights. And again, with very little effort, comes off, and you could have your shad or your curly tail hooked on this system, and with a very, very swift motion on that bottom eye, bang, it's on. So I want to talk to you about these decoy slide weights. As you can see, I'd never seen these before, and you can get them that sit on the shank of these hooks, and this is on a weedless wide gape. These are made by Decoy, and they come in a range of sizes. This one's the 1.8 gram, there's a 2.5, a 3.5 and a 5 gram, and they come in quantities of 3 or 4 depending on the size. But the good thing about it is if you're fishing relatively shallow or around weed or in any kind of finesse situations, you've got the ability to put the blade on, of course, because there's a small eye underneath, whether you can quite see that, but with the ability to interchange the weight, but also the weight moves around on these rubber beads, so you can offset that weight depending on the presentation you want to give. So perhaps something like that on the bottom, you've got a little stick bait coming up, and you can see that. Something more centered or more usual, I guess, would be the phrase I'm after. Or you could even bring it so it's a bit further back, and you can change and play with these. But what I particularly like about this loop at the bottom is that you could perhaps put a small split ring on there, attach a small treble hook, and you've basically got yourself a stinger. The options really are limitless. The other good thing about these little blades, and if you check out whether you can see that, okay, it's got that little hook, and so I've been experimenting with a conventional jig head. Obviously you've got the hook coming through the head of the bait. I think another good solution would be to push that up through the bottom of the bait, feel the bar of the shank of the hook, pull it down like that, going in through the belly of the bait, trying to work out where that shank is. I can feel it's come up towards the top, now pushing it down towards it, bang, and that is on. And that is staying there no matter what happens. So again, depending on the situation you're fishing in, easily added, tiny bit more attraction, bit of vibration. You've got the slow wiggle and the roll of the Shadties, coupled with the small blade to give you that little bit of extra attention. So I wanted also to show you, and you never really get a true appreciation of these hooks unless you've had them up close and personal. Sorry, the birds are really loud in my garden today. is these offset hooks made by Eagle Claw. Are actually called the Trocar Magnum bait pin hook. And you can see there, right underneath the eye of the hook, you've got this little protuberance there. So once you've threaded your bait on and you've got it over and into this gap, that is not moving. Don't know about you, but when I've been rigged on an offset hook like this, whether I'm Texas, Carolina fishing, whatever you're doing, and you're pulling it back, I hate it when the lure comes in and it's all mangled up and looks like it's had its head smashed in. That just gives you a really tidy and really effective, professional, I think, presentation. Coupled up with that, I don't know whether you noticed, there's a weight on the bottom there, just slid back down. But they're these sinkers, again made by Decoy, and I'll put a link in the description to all these products. But this again has limitless opportunities. Come in 0.6, 0.9 and 1.3 grams, and they're a bit like the old swan shots that you could bite on or pinch on, and you can do that with these onto your hooks. As I say, there's a couple of examples, but I've put one on here already, just squeezed it on. So this is that mag pin hook again with one of these on the bottom, and again I've left it quite loose just to be able to demonstrate, but give that a good squeeze and again you're able to add just a little bit more weight to it, maybe a couple or in different places so it falls horizontally or in a more, again the possibilities are limitless. But again, something that I'd never seen before, something that I'm really interested in, and something which I'm sure will be beneficial to you. Of course, another really excellent rigging option are these hooks from Decoy. They're called the Makiyasu or the Makisasu. Japanese ain't my first language. The Makisasu Magnum Belly weighted worm hook. You can see it sitting in this slim shad tees really nicely. It's got the screw head on the front, and you can see it sits in the slit of the shad tees beautifully. But again, the reason I bring it to your attention is on the bottom of the weight, just as another option for something in your tackle box, you've got the loop there, and again, should you want to, on my little blades, it just sits there really nice and tantalizing off the bottom. And again, should you want to put a little stinger on there, short length of wire would work a treat, especially if you're getting those little nips after the tail, or even a split ring straight to treble, so a bit more in the conventional sense. You've got a hook down here, the options are limitless.